Welcome back to Americana Outdoors presented by Garmin. Well, we're at deer camp in Bracketville, Texas with our guest Steve Nessel from Yamaha. Now, after he took a doe with a Performance Center Stealth Hunter, today he decided to hunt with a Thompson Center TC Venture rifle and headed out to the stand called Sinkhole, looking for mature whitetail bucks.
I haven't sat there before. I've heard a lot about it. You know, it's game rich, a lot of different types of animals coming in. We've got walking orders that pigs are fair game, and that's, you know, a whole other component to my hunt this time was pigs need to go. And we're just out there looking, and right away there's pigs. Was on the board, you know, after the first night hunt with a doe, the very next morning I'm on the board with a pig. It turns out that wouldn't be the only pig I took that morning.
I think I hit one with my first shot this morning. That was a double right there. Because I got a big lane. Got one gimping out. So we got 2 shots, 3 pigs.
So it was a good sit. It was a lot of fun, great spot. I mean, you're out there looking and it's gorgeous. It's a really nice looking spot, a lot of animals coming through. We did have a shooter deer come through, a shooter buck. This one came in and I could tell right away he was a young deer, and he was a big deer, but he wasn't one that we were gonna take. I mean, this is just something about, you know, the aging process that I've learned or am still learning over time that I knew I had to respect. So we watched this deer walk around for probably 2.5, 3 hours, and in my mind, posing half the time. A little frustration maybe, but at the same time knowing the right thing to do is exactly what we were doing, which is waiting to find an older deer, getting rid of some pigs in the meantime, and then we're just going to find a place to go that afternoon to continue our search. So the evening hunt on my first full day, you know, my first full day of looking for an older buck deer, we go to a place called Whitetail Ridge, and I haven't been to this spot before. And the reason we went there was because of the sun. It was the afternoon hunt and the sun was going to be setting, but there were no clouds, and we wanted a spot where we weren't going to get blasted. It was pretty warm. Gorgeous spot and shaded. And so you're tucked in, you're camouflaged, you're comfortable, nice tripods. I had a good arrest for the gun. You know, everything was set up, and then all heck broke loose. First there was a spike that came in that didn't care we were there. Almost, I think he knew we were there because he was there while we were getting set up, you know, and then his buddy, the Forky, came in, and then some, you know, looked like 3.5-year-old 8s came in, and there's some does and some fawns and some more small bucks milling around. And we watched them for a couple hours. And then, boom, in walks this 7. It was, you know, we both had at least 4.5, you know, and again, I'm not good at the aging. I start looking for telltale signs, old looking face, you know, swayed back, you know, pooch of a belly, and just a labored gait, you know, a deer looks like it's walking a little bit. And then an 8 came in that's just will haunt me for a while, this deer will. He's just super, super wide. He had good 2s, super small brows, but good 2s, and then crab claws up front. But he was so wide and such an old deer. I knew right away this deer was old just by glancing at him, and I'm like, wow, he could be one. He definitely could be the one. And just at last light, a heavy horned 8, and we never got really too good a look at him. A heavy horned 8, like really thick horned 8, brown chocolate antlers, comes in, and the original 8 and this new guy proceed to have the biggest battle I've ever seen in person. At that point, for whatever reason, whether it was the threat of one of them killing the other one or antlers breaking off, I started to regret not taking the 8 earlier, because I had ample half hour, 45 minutes to get a good shot. And, you know, well, no, if I'd done it, we wouldn't have seen the fight. But now, wait, they're rutting, and they're still rutting pretty hard. This guy, he may get chased off, he may find a doe, he may break. What did I just do?
After an amazing encounter with big mature bucks yesterday, Steve is hoping to find more bucks today at a different location, at the Whitetail Ridge one.
We sat on the hill and got set up, and there was a blind in there, and we almost got walked over the top of by a couple of deer. It just wasn't a good hunt, to be honest with you. I was a horrible hunter that morning. We got busted, and some spike decided that we were his business and he wasn't going to let go, and he looked at us for 20 minutes, and it was frustrating. It became time to make a plan for the next evening hunt, and I wanted to go back to the place we were the night before. I wanted to go back and find that 8, because now I wanted him. Now he was my trophy. And we went back to the same spot that night that we went the night before, and nothing. Am I ever going to see that deer again? And all of a sudden the rut, which can play in your favor, is playing against me. They're not patterned. You basically are guessing. And what's your best guess? And for us it was, let's go to Whitetail Bluff. So we got into the bluff in the morning and got set up, and immediately I looked down off to our left, and there is a monster. I actually thought it was an axis deer. And then the deer gets off to our left and we're blocked. The spot we picked had a bush here on purpose. We were trying to get tucked into a spot. We hardly saw that deer. And by the time it came shooting light, camera light and shooting light, he was gone. We knew he was a 10, we knew he was big, he looked heavy, but we couldn't tell how old he was. You know, we didn't know if he was an older deer or not. And then about the time we're getting ready to pack it in, a legitimate monster walks in. A just ridiculously stud toad of a deer walks in, and I know pretty much right away that he's probably not on the hit list, that he's on a list that Wade's going to say, no, don't shoot that deer. And I look at him, and he's too cool, and I could tell by his body and my limited aging experience that he's a young deer, and I never even reached for my gun. Well, hoping someday he was going to be a huge just freak of a deer, and a memorable experience for somebody, if not me, then somebody else. We were going to go back to the Whitetail Bluff because we'd moved down a little bit left. We'd taken our bush to the left that had blocked us the night before, taken it out of play. We're moved down. We feel better about the spot we're in on the same bluff, and we're hoping to see that 10. We walked up to see our spot, and there's a bunch of white things, four-legged white fluffy things walking around down in front of us. I hate sheep. It's about the noise they make, I think. I mean, we were hunting sheep pasture, so for me to say that is pretty hypocritical. There's a lot of good deer down there, and the sheep live there too. What in the world is going on? Where can we go where there's no sheep? I want an older deer, and I don't want to have to deal with sheep, and I'm becoming high maintenance, and all I want is an older deer. Just it could be that 7, it could be that 8, it could be any older deer at this point. Last hunt for me, end of season here in Texas. All I want's an old deer. We're gonna go back to the place we went the first night where we saw the 8 and the 7 and that other heavy horn deer that fought with the 8 that we all know they're pretty much all shooters. All we need is one of them to come in. So we get in super early, and this is the same place we hunted the first night. And all those usual suspects, I even texted Wade, usual suspects are here, the spike, the forkhorn, the 3.5-year-old 8s that are, they're decent deer, but they're nothing to write home about, and they may get bigger. They might be really cool. There's some does, there's some fawns, and they're all cruising around, and there's some sparring, and there's the regular deal. TikTok, man, it's getting late. It's 4 o'clock, and we've been in there for 3 hours, and they're not coming in, and it's 4:30, and it's 5, and it's 5:30, and it's getting dark, and I'm looking at Jeff, and I'm like, oh man. And it gets dark. That's it. We're done. I mean, it's on me. I could have taken the shot the first night. I think I told Jeff that night, and Wade repeated to me when I got back to camp, don't pass on something the first day that you take on the last. And I did. And that's, you're rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice. And that's why we took educated guesses in camp. You can't pattern the deer. I mean, Wade went out, maybe 2 nights when I was here because he was working, doing things, and he scored on a ridiculously gorgeous. It happened for him on a 1 evening hunt. And for me, I had 4 full days, and the odds were not in my favor. But this experience right here in no way will dampen my desire to come back. It's always a good time, and even though I didn't get a buck, definitely another successful hunt.